If your life is a book and you are the author, what would you have wanted? The best of everything, right? Through generation, a book is passed from your grandfather to your father to you, the book of life. It has all the details of what needs to be done at what age. It helps you with all the curves in your life. I was born normal. 3 months from then, I was diagnosed with polio. My definition of the book changed. The book was no longer relevant to me. I had no option but to change my book. So, what I do? I started writing my own book, page by page, chapter by chapter, so I can use that book and people like others can get influenced. So, it was a summer. I was in the 6th grade. I wanted to learn swimming. All my friends, they joined a swim club. I went up to the coach and I asked that I wanted to swim. He looked at me and said that it's not possible. He said that because I cannot walk, I might not be able to swim. And he didn't want to take that risk. So what I do? I got disheartened, right? That was the biggest day of my life where I felt a rejection. I felt that day that I was not normal. But hey, life moves on, right? Many people drill me with a common question. What is like to be different? What are the challenges or difficulties which you face? And I'm lost because hey, I don't know what a living normally means to me. For me, this is the normal. Why so? Most of the people who has a disability, they face some kind of accident or some uh, uh, challenges which makes them disabled. So they have one part of a life where they are normal, and after a few years they get disabled. So that's the reason people who are traumatized, is very difficult for them to lead a normal life. So life moved on. 15 years from that day, I was watching 2012 Paralympics. I saw this guy swimming in Paralympics. He has no hands, right? He's from China. He won the gold that year, and that made me realize that people has been telling me what to do. They set my boundary of what I cannot, and that is the time I thought it's time to break that a barrier, right? So I again picked up my courage. I again called few people. I've asked people who can help me find a coach who has helped swim people like me. So I finally get a coach. I speak with him. I tell him about my disabilities. He instantaneously tells me to come next day with my swimming trunk. 15 years from that day, that was the same swimming pool which rejected me back then. So this is me first day when I was swimming, right? At the same swimming pool which actually rejected me that I cannot swim. Yes, there are challenges, barriers, and difficulties, but that never stopped me. I believed myself. I thought there is a bigger limit for me. I kept swimming for 2 years. I won my first state championship that year, followed by nationals. So 2 years from then, I was doing a professional swimming, and this is my first medal I won. I got. So this has the most. a special place in my life. I mean, I'm sure even if I get a gold in Paralympic, I won't be still happy, you know, f- because this medal led me to that a bigger dream. And the world is built on chances, the ones you take on yourself and the ones people take on you. Being difficult in a society incapable of changing things is very difficult. They try to drown you in their fears. I've always wanted to do everything, and my disability could never dampen my spirit. After 2 years of swimming, I realized the age factor was working against me. As I started swimming at a very late age, and I tried to see myself 10 years from that time, and I saw that I was not getting stronger year on year. So I thought that I have two options. Either I give up my sport or I choose a sport which is imperative of age. So that led me to fencing. For the next 4 years, my life revolved around dashing blades with skilled opponents. When you hold the sword in in your hand, you feel the power. You can thrust, you can parry, you can riposte, you can actually stab your opponent, and you always get to get into a fight in a professional way. The tip of the fencing sword is the second most fastest thing after the bullet. It's actually faster than an arrow too. Ironically, fencing is one of the safest sports in the Olympic. And today, every ounce of me is trying to reach the 2020 Paralympics. Before sports, people only knew me as that normal guy who was in advertising, right? So that was my standard bio. But now people know me as a Paralympian. God opened so many doors for me that I could have never imagined. Because of fencing, I got the privilege to travel the world. I went to Hong Kong, Poland, Slovakia, Doha, London, Hungary, and US to name a few. Fencing literally became my visa to see the entire world. Fencing helped me to go to the next stage. I got a bigger platform. I was suddenly talking with kids in schools, colleges, and at other uh, uh, places. And the one objective I was following was to increase the awareness of sports and to guide the audience that people with disability can also do sports. Sport also enabled me to become the first person from India to be nominated for the US Emerging Leader, where I was sent for 3 months in the States to learn sport diplomacy. Now, suddenly, I was making impact at a global level. I was guiding the underprivileged countries in how to use sport to develop the underprivileged. And the most single biggest objective of ours was to make the entire world accessible. Throughout India, lack of awareness and accessibility prevents thousands of people with disability from accessing sports. Despite severe disparity and the available facility, Indian Paralympic players have been getting more number of gold than the able-bodied Olympic. It's time I tell to everyone that let's invest in a Paralympic. Sport gave me a new introduction, a new direction in life. It reflected the true me. A bigger purpose of my life was discovered, my new moral compass. Nowadays, I see students like you fear of failure. Failure isn't the enemy, it's a fear. Being risk averse is completely fine, but the fear of taking the chance is what stops people. I have been taking chance all my life without worrying about my failure or how far I can go. I only knew one thing, that I had to try because I had one life. So go out and give that try. Go out and play a sport which you always feared. Go ahead and study the subject which you feared, and go for the job interview which you thought you actually cannot crack. Try and you shall succeed. Whenever I ask someone why isn't this place accessible, right? So the first reply I get, that we don't have people around us for whom we should make it for whom we should make this place accessible. The only reason you don't see people around you are because the place is not accessible for them. 15% of our population has some kind of a physical limitation. So that person quickly defends and says, okay, so you mean to say for 15% of the population, you want me to invest and restructure the place? It's not for the 15%, it's for the 100%. Reason? We all age, or don't we? Through our age, our physical limitation increases. So, 30-40 years from now, would you be happy if you are not able to climb a stairs and access a place where you always wanted to be? I truly hope that you will all help me to make an endeavor to make India an accessible place by making sure to request people around you and to ask them to make all infrastructure, transportation, be it public or private, so they are accessible. So people like me can play sports and access the sporting area, because a gold is a gold at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if it's won by an Olympian or a Paralympian. Through sports, I actually got to learn so many new sports. Fencing let me learn skiing, skating, scuba diving, wheelchair basketball. I was playing all types of games. The most selfish thing you can ever do in your life is to help others. Why selfish? Because the goodness only comes to you, right? This is a good feeling which I get by helping others, by motivating others. There is nothing better than that. This is what I actually call success. And I would to like to end by quoting Denzel Washington. It's not how much you have, it's what you do with what you have. Thank you, everyone.